competition is going to be just as, if not more, intense, as these youngsters are going to be pushing their way forward with every ounce of weight and steam they have got to push themselves into the mix. Finn McLaughlin and Cathal Clark from Leo Robinson and Maxime Verbruge, Lewis Bird and Gilles Caranta, Adam Rahali and Brandon Carr from Zach Green and Noah Wolf, Hugo Kerouan and Alex O'Grady, Noah Matero and Hedy Mamassi, then Ty Buckley and Mattis Karniak, Kian Geraghty and Antonio Apicella from Eden Spanswick and Colin Cronin, Aaron Ferrazzano and Romeo Russell, Vilma Svan and James Wood from Aston Sharp and Dylan Visser, Fernando Luque, Billy Hackler, Ralph Tharnan and Theo Permez, Moscati Mikola and Connor Grant from Raphael Theveny, Dino Storescu, Coen de Roy and Mart Bult. 36 drivers. None of these guys will have felt the nature of these slick tyres going into this race. And obviously, with only 2 slick tyre sets available through the course of the week, they will be pretty much used for every single driver. So this is one of the toughest races they're going to face, certainly up to this point in their career thus far.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a lot of the drivers going for fresh new tyres. If they haven't used them already, I would not be surprised if we see a lot of drivers on new slick tyres just so they can try and get an advantage, especially if they're outside of the top 12, to try and get themselves within a position, top 18, to get themselves within a position to make it into the final.
So this is where the contenders are going to have to work very hard indeed. 12 lap races still. It's not been declared a dry race yet because there are still plenty of wet patches around the course. We're going to go racing. Is this going to be a start? Yes, it is. Away we go. McLaughlin in front of Robinson off the line. Clark is going to hold on into about 3rd or 4th position as the field works its way through, and off goes one of the Dream Racing karts. Up into the first corner, that is Romeo Russell. So Russell goes a little bit too short up into the braking zone and overshoots through turn 2. And there's more drivers spinning up at turn 4. Karts going everywhere. And I'm afraid that looks like Dylan Visser. Dylan Visser's in the mix there, so too is the 429. That is Ralph Tharnan, Theo Permez, Aaron Ferrazzano. It looks like Colin Cronin was involved, as too was James Wood, just trying to take avoiding action. But it looks to me as though Ralph Tharnan is going no further. What a shame for the Spanish driver. He's trying his best to fix the kart and get back into the race, but I think that is going to be a losing battle for the Spaniard. It's going to be game over for him, but out in front it is Finn McLaughlin from Robinson, and I think that is Adam Rahali that has come forward into 3rd place in front of Clark and Brandon Carr. So great racing up at the front, and it's already going to be a hard charge. Bird is next. There goes Clark, making his bid on Rahali to get into 3rd.
Yeah, great start there from McLaughlin. Now he pushes away, trying to pull away from the rest of the field and his teammate. Robinson currently in 2nd position.
We got 2 karts over the final corner. It looks like we've lost Vilma Svan and Oskari Mikola, as well as Raphael Theveny. 3 karts in the final bend have gone off there on the exit of the pit lane. So there's more drivers dropping out of contention. That's such a shame. There you go. There's the 390 of Raphael Theveny, and there is Oskari Mikola's kart as well. Vilma Svan has got going again, but these 2 are out of it. That's their week done and dusted. What a shame. Finn McLaughlin and Leo Robinson still working hard. Bird is swarming around all over the back of Brandon Carr. He wants to mix it. And who is on the bubble at the moment? It's Hedy Mamassi and Aston Sharp, who are currently 17th and 18th, as Ty Buckley picks up a warning flag in 21st. He's trying to make his way into that top 18. Here comes Cathal Clark. Tries again to get the move on Leo Robinson, this time for 2nd. That would certainly do his chances all the end of good. This is an opportunity for Cathal Clark, but Rahali and Bird is still shaking him round. Verbruge trying to close in on them as well in P7. He's got Brandon Carr to deal with first as Rahali tries to take on Cathal Clark. He's upholding the honour for the Dream Racing team. Helped and assisted this weekend by KZ World Championship driver Adrien Renaudin. Let's look at the start again. This is how crazy it gets as the drivers try to work their way through. Look how tricky it is to sustain the gap and to sustain grip on that inside line. You've got karts drifting. There's only one dry line. That's the problem. You've only got one dry line to work with, and it's almost impossible to fight your way to it.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky for these drivers to try and keep themselves on the circuit with the very little amount of grip that is being provided to them right now. See going forwards, Leo Robinson, Jack in the rear inside tyre just to try and get the kart turned in. Now Kyle Clark's getting involved in this battle. He's all over the back of the driver in second position.
Who's
and he
right?
manages to get through as Robinson makes a mistake there. Following through as well is going to be Bird, and that looks like that's Rahali getting involved as well.
So a big mistake for Leo Robinson, forced into that from the pressure of Kyle Clark. Zach Green, meanwhile, gets the fastest lap of the race, a 56.6. So the junior drivers are not too far away from the pace that we saw from them in qualifying. Let's not forget that Sasha Van Bosch's pole time was a 55.2. So we are currently on the 56.6s. And let's not forget that also these tyres are considerably further worn than they were in qualifying. So they're probably not going to get to the same level of pace as Bird has managed to get into second place past Clark. So Lewis Bird for the crop promotion team is now in P2 in front of Kyle Clark. Clark is going to have a run to him down to the first corner though, as Finn McLaughlin is just disappearing up front. Rahali gets a very forceful move there on the inside of Clark through turn 2. And I don't think Clark's going to be too happy about that. I'd like to see that one again, because that's borderline as to whether or not Rahali has actually forced the issue there with a push as Verbruge comes through on the inside of Robinson to make a clean move. And look at Noah Wolf. He's now all over the back of Brandon Carr to try and make his way through. This is a great comeback for Noah Wolf. It's just getting yourself into contention, the first part. Now it's really part of it as Robinson and Verbruge drift wide. Here comes Brandon Carr to split them. Noah Wolf is lining up his teammate now. And here comes Jules Caranta. He's getting back into the contest as well. In 9th position. Let's look at this again. Now we've got Bird, Clark, and watch Rahali. He's just in behind Clark. Now Clark has lost a little bit of ground there, but Rahali is committed to that line. He's just given the slightest love tap to Cathal Clark through the turn, but that's enough to get the victory lane driver wide. And through went Adam Rahali. But Clark has got him back again. 3 wide further back. This is Wolf trying to double time them. A great move to defend in front of Green and Caranta, and slotting through, that's Alex O'Grady. And here comes Noah Montero and Eden Spanswick. Great racing in the midfield. The more places you make up in this pre-final, the better your starting grid position is going to be for the final. And they're all probably hoping that Finn McLaughlin keeps working his way further forward and gets a faster race time than the guys in pre-final A, because if they do, then these guys will be on the inside line for the start of the final later.
I don't see how this would be a quicker session than the next one. Obviously, with the track still evolving and still drying after every session whilst the drivers are going round, and with more heat being put into the surface of the tarmac, I can only see the track getting faster and faster as the day goes on and as the races go on as well. So Finn McLaughlin, he'll have to try his best. He'll have to push himself to the limits. You can see there, that's going to be Fred Green trying to make his way. Sorry, that's Zach Green trying to make his move. Oh no, Wolf, sorry, getting the two cousins mixed up there.
So the top 18 are the only ones that can make it through. On the bubble at the moment is Antonio Apicella. Aston Sharp is right in behind him, trying to make the overtake. So Sharp is doing everything he can to try and mix it through. As the field continues to make progress, there is still a lot of racing to come as Wolf dives in on his teammate Robinson and gets alongside in the hairpin and leaves him no room to negotiate. Now Robinson is going to lose out to Zach Green. Green gets through on the outside of the right-hander. Beautiful move from Green. And now O'Grady is going to take his teammate on. He gets through. Robinson's on the curb. Drops back behind Montero, Spanswick, and Caranta. Spanswick now going up the inside of Montero. Drifts off onto the curbs. And that costs him dearly, as Verbruge is now making the bid on his countryman Rahali. Carr gets through. Here comes Wolf and Zach Green to get through on the inside of Alex O'Grady to defend. So brilliant battling here in X30 Junior pre-final B. A nice precursor for what we're likely to see in the final later on. And Finn McLaughlin's lead has suddenly dissipated. It's now just the second to Lewis Bird, who is being helped here by Cathal Clark. And here comes Wolf's move again on Robinson. This is a replay. Look how little room he leaves him on the exit. That is a forceful decision. There's nothing wrong with that move from Noah Wolf. He's left his opponent two choices. Hit me or back off. And that's what he's decided to do, the latter.
Yeah, so as we go forwards, you can see Brandon Carr having to be a little bit more defensive now, as he has Verbruge and Rahali all over the back of him, so he's going to have to be careful if he doesn't want to lose this position here. Carr sitting in pole position right now, looking quite comfortable, getting squeezed out all the way out there is Noah Wolf, as he falls back to 12th position in just one lap.
So Noah Wolf gets a taste of his own medicine there, and Gilles Caranta has got through into 11th position. You've really got to drive forceful if you want to get up to the front end. But of course, if you drive forceful, your opponents are going to give it back. So Alex O'Grady, and Gilles Caranta drifts wide. Jules Caranta now falls to the back of that little queue. So that's a big problem for Caranta as he drops to 12th. Behind Noah Wolf, then Robinson, Mimasi, Ferrazzano, Cherubin, Gerety, and Aston Sharp, who has managed to get through past Antonio Apicella now. So there's still opportunities to move their way forward, but only the top 18 make it through to the final in IWF. And with 4 laps to go, anything can still happen. Bird is there in front of Clark. They have got the gap down to Finn McLaughlin to just 0.6 of a second. And with 3 laps to go, it's going to be even less. Half a second now. Here comes Clark. He senses a chance. And that is the end of the week for Dino Storescu. The Romanian has got a mechanical problem. 23rd in the race at the moment, but he's clearly got some kind of damage. So Dino Storescu will try and figure out what it is as he comes through. I couldn't quite make it out, but I think he's got a missing chain guard. So a big problem for Dino Storescu. What a shame for the Romanian, who is still... No, it's worse than that. He's got a missing side pod. The left side of the car has a side pod missing. So I'm afraid for Dino Storescu, his IAME week has just ended.
Yeah, that's really such a shame. It's the worst way that you want your weekend to be ending. And with a missing side pod, so clearly had some substantial contact there for that to take place. And especially in a pre-final like this.
Oh, Noah Wolf is down to 16th. He is really on the bubble, flirting with disaster here as Cathal Clark charges in behind Finn McLaughlin. They're working hard here to try and stretch away from the rest of the field. McLaughlin only has a quarter of a second now on Clark and Bird. They are pushing hard to try and close in on the leader and maybe change their fortunes a little bit here. Clark is having a think about it. McLaughlin still leads. Bird in third. 3 Union flags at the top 3 positions, but of course Finn McLaughlin is actually Irish. He runs under a British licence. Here comes the opportunity as Clark is all over the back. I wonder if he's got a loose front fairing. Has Clark got a loose front fairing? It's looking a little bit tenuous for the victory lane driver up front. Fortunately, if he loses 5 seconds, then he will still qualify, but he's really going at it on Finn McLaughlin. He's trying to get through, he gets him alongside, and he gets him round the outside. Cathal Clark moves up into the lead, and he's already trying to disappear. No wonder if there's a chance. Let's look at his front fairing as he comes down into the last lap. That's flapping a little in the breeze. McLaughlin wants to come back at him. That's touch and go for Clark. I can't tell whether he's got the loose front or not, but it certainly looks a little bit shaky. Birdie's going to try his best to get through on McLaughlin as well. And Clark runs wide! Turns across on McLaughlin! Big mistake from Clark. Just dropped it a little bit wide and McLaughlin and Bird are back through. Such a costly error for Clark. McLaughlin and Bird now get back into the inside line and take the places away. Bird has got a shot here on McLaughlin. Last lap. Down the drop. Right-hander. Back straight. McLaughlin's going to go defensive. Bird has got to keep him guessing. Goes the long way round. Can he outbrake him? Cuts back in for the switch. McLaughlin holds the inside line. Bird is going to try and come around him. Then tuck in for the inside. McLaughlin parks it. This is going to be a run to the line. McLaughlin can be proud of that one. He wins in brilliant fashion. Finn McLaughlin, take a bow. All the pressure in the world. And he bounced into victory. But who's going to get through? 18th is going to go the way of Mart Bult. He hangs on in front of Vili Hakala and Antonio Apicella. Well, it was tough racing, but the 18 have come through. It was tough, it was tense, but Finn McLaughlin has held on to it.
Great racing there from McLaughlin. Even if Clark does have a drop-down bumper, he will still very comfortably make it into the top 18 and qualify for that final. Great racing from everyone up at the front end. McLaughlin, a defensive masterclass there to stop Bird and Clark getting through, and when he retained the lead there. But Lewis Bird, his first weekend in Europe, and what a performance it has been from him.
He's got a great shot to win the whole thing now, doesn't he? Second position in the final. He has a great opportunity from 4th place. Wow, this is such a tense atmosphere now down here at Le Mans as Finn McLaughlin comes through to get provisional pole position for the final. Finn McLaughlin from Lewis Bird and Cathal Clark, then Brandon Carr and Adam Rahali. Maxon Verbruge in front of Zach Green, and then Alex O'Grady, Noah Montero, Leo Robinson, Eden Spanswick, Aaron Ferrazzano, Hadi Mimasi, Hugo Genuine, and Jules Caranta. They all get through. The 3 that join them in the final are Noah Wolf, Kian Gerety, and Mart Bult. The ones that just miss out, sadly, Vili Hakala and Antonio Apicella from Aston Sharp and Fernando Luque. then James Wood, Romeo Roussel, Colin Cronin and Conor Grant, Coen de Roy, Dylan Visser, Matt Discarniak and Ty Buckley ahead of Theo Permez and Vilma Svan, with 4 retirements: Dino Sorescu, Raoul van Tharden, Oskari Mikola and Raphael Theveny. A very tough week coming to a conclusion with these X30 Junior pre-finals. There is one race to go before the final, and it is very tense down here at Le Mans. Here's the start once again, and the highlights over the best races of the day, over the best laps of this pre-final B. You could see right from the start, drivers were already going to have a bit of a struggle to get through this opening lap. Watch again at turn 4 as drivers go this way and that way. Disaster for several. Colin Cronin and Dylan Visser, the big names to be spat out of the queue from that one. We expected them to have a really good shot of getting through, but it's always tough. Cathal Clark and Adam Rahali have really made good work of it off the start of these races, and now they are going to mix it to try and finish us off in fine style in the later final.
Some outstanding racing all the way through. That was Clark's move there on Robinson, as Robinson just ran a little bit wide. We can see Beard and Rahali managing to squeeze through as well, as Robinson fell a little bit further back. This is where Clark just pushing through the braking zone and gets pushed a little bit wide there from Rahali, so loses out on that position. In the background, Robinson diving for the move. Carr able to switch back 1. Could he switch back 2? No, he can't. So Carr having to tuck in behind Verbruge as they go forwards. Now he has Robinson in behind. We're having a look at these replays and getting very elbows out in the mid-pack as we go 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. So drivers battling for every single position they can get, every place they can get themselves on the grid to get themselves further up for the final would be amazing. Noah Wolf and his teammate going head-to-head there. Very close between the two Fusion drivers and a difficult one to call. And another mistake there from Leo Robinson, just putting himself out of contention. Brandon Carr, though, great racing from him to muscle his way through the field. Down the home straight, we can see the victory lane and the Fusion drivers going at it as they go down into the first corner. This was Clark's move there, and look at that front bumper. That's definitely a drop down there. Taps the rear end there a bit and goes flying up and down. Manages to get himself into lead with a beautiful move around the outside of Finn McLaughlin. McLaughlin and Beard tuck in behind each other and they push forwards to get themselves back into lead the race. A mistake there made by Clark. Tries to turn in, but there is McLaughlin. He pushes his way through and Lewis Beard following through in style as they go down the straight. McLaughlin going a little bit defensive. Didn't want to let Beard through there on the straight line. Didn't want to beat him to the checkered flag.